What is one lie you must keep up, that you hate, but it covers up a much bigger duck up? My mom didn't actually die of cancer. She died of HIV, and I'm the only one of 5 kids, and my aunts, that know the actual truth. I keep telling my sister it's not a good idea to get a cancer event tattoo, but she doesn't get why. I once worked at a large store and walked up to a coworker to ask a question. I must have startled her. BC, as I was asking, I noticed a weird look on her face and suddenly realized that she was peeing herself. I pretended not to notice and made some excuse to leave, and came back a little later to see her mopping it up. I said, "Did a customer spill another drink again?" and wandered off. I told all my coworkers that a customer had spilled soda all over the floor in her department. I came up with a lie so I wouldn't have to go to my sister's friend's surprise party. I told her I had some homework to finish up that was due that night. There was no assignment. I just didn't feel like going. My sister came over and said I should at least sign the card. My sister then very strongly suggested that her friend really likes me. So now I do want to go, but I already told the lie. So now I backtrack saying that the assignment was almost done and I could turn it in now for a 90. I go to the party. We hook up 3 days later and I'm still dating her. The annoying part is whenever anyone tells the story of how we got together, they say that I got a lower grade on an assignment so I could see her. I really want to correct it, but there is no graceful way I can think of to do so. That I can't smell anything. I told my best friend that in 3rd grade to sound cool. The problem is that he has a photographic memory. I'm trained to never make a comment about smells. My parents even think I can't smell. They paid for a doctor to look at it. The doctor said, "Oh, sometimes this happens, it's probably nothing to worry about." Worst doctor ever. I can't get out of it. Ever. I'm stuck. The real twist would be if your friend told you he had a photographic memory just to sound cool. And now you're both sweating, hoping the other doesn't find out you're just a regular person. The reason why I'm going to community college this year isn't because it's cheaper. It's because I failed out of the well-respected state school that my Asian parents paid $35,000 for last year. I used to serve at a major chain restaurant. When I messed up or forgot to bring something to the table, it was never my fault. I'd blame the kitchen, the bartender, the busboy, anything but admit I made a mistake. So this particular night I get sat a 3-top comprised of 2 adults and a boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old. The parents order their drinks and ask for a kid-sized milk for their son. I bring them an adult-sized milk by mistake and the dad says, "Oh, excuse me, but we wanted a kid-sized milk." I lie, "Yeah, we're actually all out of kid cups, so that's all we have. I'm sorry. My manager forgot to place the order for them this week." He believes my story and everything is fine. But then I get sat an 8-top with 4 kids and 4 adults. I'm forced to carry on this charade to the next table, being out of kid cups, because they're in plain sight of the 3-top. And the next table. And the next. When I was a kid I chased my little brother outside with a spoon. Once we got outside he got on top of our car and started yelling. No clue why I was chasing him with a spoon or why I cared about him yelling. After he wouldn't get down I threw the spoon at him aiming for his stomach. Trying to avoid it he ducked and it hit him in the face right next to his left eye. After he calmed down I took him back into the house and told my mom he fell. He was hurt pretty bad. The spoon didn't just barely hit him. It caused permanent damage to that eye that he had to deal with for years. He wasn't blinded or anything, but his vision was impaired. He was too young to remember. I'm 3 years older than him. That it was my fault, so he doesn't know it was me. Not the biggest lie ever, cause we were both kids and I didn't do it on purpose, but it's still pretty shitty to know that I did that to someone. That I've never been in a relationship. Nobody knew I was in one. Or would have approved. It was with a much older woman. And it turned out a devastating disaster for both of us. When I was 15 and only had a driver's permit, I fell asleep behind the wheel and rolled the truck I was driving. My mom was asleep in the passenger side and luckily we were not injured. She ended up telling the cops it was her driving since I would have been impossible to insure when and if I did get my license at 16 years old. It's not really a story that comes up often. But I have always felt terrible that it went on her driving record. Ever since that accident I've made it a point to be a safe driver and 8 years later have not been in another car wreck, knock on wood. Why don't you travel? Or even just go down to the USA for a day trip? Gas is cheaper down there. Blah blah. I live in Canada just on the other side of the border. I have to make all kinds of excuses like trying to save money by not going on vacations, not having a passport yet, having prior obligations plans, stuff like that. The real reason, I've got a criminal record. I work as a bar manager, and both my boss and I are military vets. Actually, that's mostly how I got the job. We struck up a conversation and I discussed my time in the service. Except that my 6-year enlistment ended at around 3 years. 2 months. I didn't go away or drink myself stupid. Mostly. I would oversleep and I was a sheethead in my early 20s. Not my finest hour. I left with a general discharge. So I still had college paid for in Texas. But very few know about this. I couldn't reveal this. And honestly, the lie has manifested into the status quo. Everything I have has been predicated upon a lie. My jobs. My girlfriend, who's a veteran. And even a good amount of friends have no clue. Edit, grammar stuff. My uncle died of a drug overdose. Not of the cardiac arrest. My mom's family insist we tell us the official story. I know how you feel. Man. My aunt shot herself in the head in an assisted living place. We don't really tell anyone the truth. It's too shocking for most people to deal with. I had a longboarding accident a year ago and I ended up injuring myself pretty badly. I got tendonitis in my ankle from a previous complication, bursitis in my hip, and I needed 8 stitches in my face. My boss would always tell me, yeah, no, one day you're gonna fall off that thing and seriously injure yourself. So I lied and said I fell while chasing a dog down a hill. Now he kind of pities me and lets me take it easy if my hip starts to act up. Went to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving and she asked me to set the table. Apparently, I did it wrong because she asked me if I was left-handed. I said yes instead of admitting that I don't know how to set a table. From that point on she made several comments about left-handedness and even made sure to orient objects to accommodate me. I had to pretend to use my left hand for the rest of the trip. And to this day, she still believes that I am left-handed. TLDR, my aunt thinks I'm left-handed because I can't set a table. Everyone thinks that when I'm gone all day I'm out looking for a job. Really, I'm just doing heroin. I'd like my ex to answer this. You need to get over your ex. I always get over my exes within a week after their funerals. I have 0 living relatives. I have 0 reasons for secrets. A very sad and awesome experience. Have any idea how awesome it is to do what you want 100% of the time? Have any idea how soul-crushingly depressing being orphaned is? I was in a rush to get to school one morning and did not realize our second car was directly behind the car I was driving. I rammed into the back end of that car and broke the license plate. So I then had to take that car to prevent my mom from seeing it. I told my friend that my brother got in a fender bender and I told my mom that my friend, the same friend, broke it by failing at a Dukes and Hazzards type slide on top of my car. So now they think all of my friends are irresponsible and overweight. Years ago, I was partying with a college friend at a bar in New Orleans, where he lived right out of school, in a big group. And his car was stolen. Years later he confessed to me that he decided to leave the bar early, accidentally drove into a swamp, and walked away from his vehicle as it descended into the muck. He then walked back to the bar and hung out the rest of the night, only to act surprised when his car wasn't there. Vehicle recovered 2 weeks later and insurance paid it off in full. The guy's now an attorney, investigating corporate fraud. I screwed up university. I had some medical issues to begin with, and then I got lazy and had no idea what I was doing when I came to. And now I can't go back. I have to come clean soon. But I can't bear the shame. Nor do I have any idea of how to tell my parents. I was in THS same situation a year ago. My friend. Moderate depression. Apathy. General laziness. I blew a full ride scholarship because I didn't try at all. Eventually I just told my parents I ducked up. And needed to move back home. It's been a hard year of full-time work self-improvement, but I'm much better for it. Just tell them. Man. Crashed my friend's motorcycle when we traded rides. I couldn't let my other roommate find out I let my friend drive my new car but not him. Now we have to continue a lie about how he tipped it in the garage, which is hard for an experienced rider to admit. Had to say that I lost my virginity to some random girl at 15 when I really lost it at 16 with my mother's best friend. Story? It was my mom's birthday. She and some friends came over to visit her. The lady lived far from home, so my mom offered her to sleep over. Then I made my move. Told my mom that she could use my brother's bed and my bro could sleep with her. She said yes. The night came in. And out of nowhere, for a reason I don't recall right now, we ended up together in my bed. I had wood. She noticed it. And we hit it. Some days passed and I told my friends the story. Someone talked about it in a reunion. And we had to improvise a lie. Sad part of the story. She died this year. My girlfriend and I were sitting around visiting with a bunch of friends. She was sitting on my lap and someone else was talking. So no one was looking at us. All of a sudden I felt my girlfriend seize up as she stifled a sneeze. Unfortunately, holding back the sneeze caused her to rip a massive fart. The fart was so huge that every head in the room turned towards us with a look of shock and awe on their faces. I just smiled sheepishly and said, "Excuse me." All the guys cracked up and the girls feigned disgust until the aroma hit their nostrils. It was a rancid vulgar odor that cleared everyone out of the room. The group had a few good laughs and made fun of me for years for that fart. That's okay. That night, and many nights thereafter, I was amply rewarded for chivalry. TLDR took the blame for my girlfriend's very public, very loud satanic $$ blast DM, HS. Q. Why don't I have a car? A. Well, I could either afford a car or my own place. Real answer, DUI. Note, I actually can drive, but I am truly better off without one, since the lie answer is somewhat true. Cars are expensive as shit when you add up all the costs over the long run. Plus it makes me think twice about where I go.